Hey, welcome back. All right, apprenticeship programs. Let's get into this. So, if you're if you're in the union, it's completely different. Okay, the unions have a structure that benefits the ones that follow the structure of the union. So let's put them aside because they already have a setup. But non-union, it's like a jungle out there, and if you don't look out for yourself, no one else will. And I don't mean as being, selfish. I mean as in your education, as in learning this trade. Um, the non-union electrical field is filled with problems. Um, Drugs are the number one problem. Um, that's really it's the drug use, and it's the lack of some type of education program for non-union guys. All right. And luckily, I made it through and I started my own company. And I've been self employed for 17 years. God, thank God for that. Um, but isn't, my road was very less traveled. I don't really think that many people took the way I went. So if you're non-union and you want to become a mechanic, it depends on what type of mechanic you want to be and how you go about doing that. Okay, like if you want to be a commercial guy, um, I, I do commercial. I know commercial. I can't run commercial. It's not what I do. If I spent more time doing commercial, then yes, I would run it. All right, but I do it for a select group of investors or business owners. I take care of their facilities. Um, but other than that, you know, I specialize in knob and tube. So I specialize in plaster homes. But I chose to specialize in this towards the end of my apprenticeship. All right. And like my apprenticeship program was difficult in the realm of what I had to give up and how much I had to change. And guys that ask for an apprenticeship program, a lot of times they don't know what they're asking for, because they think that it's going to make who they are presently into a mechanic and they get to be the same person. And it doesn't work out that way a lot of times. If you haven't gone through an apprenticeship program, or not even like a program, but an apprenticeship underneath a master electrician, you, you don't realize how much changes in how you think, how you live, how you approach problems, how you approach problems in your own life, how you live. Another thing, like when I went through my apprenticeship program, or my apprenticeship, whatever you want to call it, underneath a master electrician, he it was almost like he was teaching me how the electrical trade will provide an income for me for the rest of my life. So it wasn't just learning the trade, but it was learning how to make the trade provide me an income. Because if you have the knowledge, but then you don't know how to be on the job on time, or you don't know how to live outside of the job and you're getting arrested, or you're drinking heavily, or there's so many different ways that you can screw up your own life. And it won't matter what you know in electrical. Okay, I definitely hear from guys, well, I'm really good, so I can do whatever I want outside the job. No, 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 you can't. There's too much of a burden of responsibility that falls on a master electrician. Okay, a master electrician, like, he needs to have his wits about him. He needs to be able to smell problems before they occur. He can't allow a problem to happen and then be like, oh, Like that's like a journeyman or even less than that. Like master electricians, why they're good is they can see a problem before the problem happens. All right. So if I see a guy that's, burning the candle at both ends, like he's working hard on the job, and then he's also going out and playing hard at night, with the whole thing about work hard, play hard. I know he's gonna burn out. Like I can't rely on him completing a deadline on Friday if I see Tuesday that he's running like a maniac. Okay, now there are guys that have stamina, and the moment you know their stamina and they have a structure to them, that's great. You can anticipate what they can handle. So if your life is like this, like a roller coaster, that's the worst thing for a mechanic. You want your life to be as even keel as possible, because if that's the platform you're working on, you can rely on that. Okay, and then you can base work on that, and you can schedule work in advance. I try when I'm scheduling, if we're 6 weeks backed up, I need to be able to rely on everyone to hit their marks. And if their life is chaotic, that means I'm going to get a good day out of them on Tuesday, a horrible day Wednesday, a good day Thursday. That's not a profitable mechanic. All right. And your apprenticeship teaches you this. And my apprenticeship was very difficult. All right. Because the more the mechanic tells you what's right and what's wrong, and the more you fight what he's saying, the harder your apprenticeship will be. And the number one, the way I start people in the apprenticeship program or an apprenticeship is I got to find their baseline. I need solid ground to work off of. So my solid ground, I usually state, is no going out during the weekdays. All right. I want them in bed by 10 o'clock. All right. And I want them to have a tool bag on. The moment they step foot on the site, I want a tool bag on, and I want a certain set of hand tools. I want Lyman's, Dykes, needle nose. I want a long Phillips head, a short Phillips head, a fat flathead, a medium flathead, and a skinny flathead in their tool bag on the right side, or if they're left-handed, on the left side. And then I want wire nuts, tape, and some type of testing device. And I want that tool bag on them the moment they come on the job, up to lunch, after lunch, to the moment they're breaking down. Because that's my foundation. That's my baseline. All right. If I can get that structure out of them, okay, I can get their mind correct. I can get them clear-headed, and I can get them into the rhythm of acting as like a mechanic. And then we can start filling them with knowledge or education or techniques that we do. But and you guys that don't want to go out during the weekdays and they want to go out and party, they can. They're just not going to be my apprentice. Okay, I get to dictate my apprenticeship for the people underneath of me. If they want to be licensed and they want what I got, I dictate how it is. They don't get to dictate it. Okay, guys that argue with me, I just let them go, because I'm successful. Everything I say is based on my success. Apprentices are not successful. They're living with mommy, daddy, or they're barely in an apartment, or their life is just a mess. Okay, well, their views and opinions and comments are what got them in the situation they're in. All right, my life is not like that. So if you're going through an apprentice underneath of me, I can't have you with a messed up life. I can't build off of a messed up life. I have to get you to an even keel. And yes, the first year of an apprenticeship is usually the hardest year because you're fighting everything. Like I've seen guys fight about going out at night. I've seen guys fight about they don't want to wear tool bags. They want to do it their way. Well, their way got them where they are today. All right. And the moment they get open-minded about that, they see that what I need to do is going to benefit them. All right. And it's usually a delayed process. So if you start conforming to your apprenticeship in the first year, by the second year, if you're really following the baseline and you're following like going to bed early, you start seeing money increase because one, you're clear-headed during the week. Your tasks that you're being taught during that time period are you're retaining the knowledge. You're remembering it. Okay, so like drop cloths or whatever I'm teaching them, because I can't just go in and be like, this is how you do an outlet. Okay, because the outlet is only 10% of the problem. How about, this is how you set the job up. This is how you break it down. This is where all the tools should go in the van. This is where all the tools should go on the job. If I only teach you the outlet and you put tools away differently in the van in 20 different locations, it's going to take us twice as long to do one outlet, which means we make half as much. The whole point of being a master electrician is being efficient, being able to do outlets, anything you need in a productive manner, in an efficient manner, okay? And it's not how fast you install that outlet. It's how you put your tools away, how you break down drops, how you set drops up. All these things prior to the outlet installation is what makes a good mechanic, okay? Or when you open up that outlet, you need to be able to diagnose what you're seeing before you touch it. A lot of guys, they don't have any forethought, okay? And what I mean by that is they don't look at what's around them before they put their grubby little hands on it, all right? Oftentimes, I can break down another electrical mechanic based on what I see without touching my tools yet. Like the plate, how the switch looks, what the switch is controlling, where he put the switch, why did he put the switch there. All these things should be thought about before you touch a tool. All right. Same thing with like when we get into rewires. All right. There's mechanics that just bulldog right into a rewire and they just start working. Okay. Which, okay, I understand, but you can't be a foreman doing that, or you can't be the lead mechanic doing that, because you need to be able to anticipate problems before they happen. So I try to teach the head mechanics when they go out, like, look at the job before you begin. Look at all facets of that job. Look at the wiring in the basement before you rewire the first floor. Look at the wiring in the basement. Look, you got to look at the whole job before you start just getting in there and start having at it. Oftentimes, I'll find tricks that save us days worth of labor because I'm looking at it before I begin and I see things that will benefit the rewire. All right. That was taught to me. That's not something that I guess you could pick it up, but that was part of my apprenticeship program later on is what are your eyes looking for? Like I can look at something and another mechanic look at something and I can see 20 different things that another mechanic won't see sometimes. All right. And vice versa. He can see things that I don't see. All right. So if we have two guys that are anticipating problems, that's powerful. You have a good crew, like 3 mechanics that are all forethought, that are all looking forward before they even touch a tool. It's amazing. So when you get into wanting to be a mechanic and you want to find a mentor, all right, you need to know what you're asking for, because it's not just about the work. It's about life. It's about a lot of guys are going to want a certain level of conduct. Some guys will be like, my hair, I know I have long hair today. Well, guess what? It's my company. I put it up and I make it respectable. But a lot of guys will be like, yo, cut your hair, shave, brush your teeth every morning. Like, no lie, I've had to tell guys that they have to brush their teeth in the morning. Like, I had to tell guys, you have to tuck your shirt in before you arrive on jobs. Or don't wear sandals to a job and then put your boots on in the driveway. I don't understand people that do that. All right, I've always been told the moment you set foot on the property that you're working on, you should be 100%. You shouldn't have to tuck your shirt in. You shouldn't come and then like do something like brush your teeth out in the van or whatever. But that's what my apprenticeship taught me. And it was tough. Like, if my mentor told me to jump, I started jumping. I didn't ask how high. I just started jumping. Like, that's basically, like, I know people are like, well, what, I'm his bitch now? Kinda. Like, if he's got what you want and he's living a successful life and your life is nothing, you kind of are. Like, as long as he's a decent person, that relationship will be respectable and he won't beat you up too much. All right. But if you fight your apprenticeship, you're going to get beat up a lot. Okay. And it'll get vicious. Like I've seen mechanics break guys down because the guy thought he knew better. And that's another problem. When you're young, you're a know-it-all. Like, and yes, 20-year-olds don't have a clue about life. They're filled with all this crap they're taught out in, I don't know, school or whatever else. And then you get on the trade and you have someone that has a successful lifestyle as a mechanic. Well, that's not in the books. That's in real life. So if you're looking to learn a trade, it's better that you listen to him than listen to people like that's on YouTube or anyone else. All right, even me. Like, if you're learning from a mechanic and he's decent and look at his lifestyle, look at the person he is. And if that's what you want, then you need to listen to what he says, as long as he's telling you the truth. And you got it, like an apprenticeship, if you ask him, like, teach me electric, then it should be his obligation. If he accepts it, he's got to accept it. Okay, then it's his obligation to teach you the correct way to live. All right, and it is a matter of a question and acceptance, because back in the day when I asked my mentor, he said no. He said no a lot. Okay, I think it took probably 6 months before he gave me work. And during those 6 months, he probably was telling me to like, I don't remember everything. This is like 20 years ago. But I was a drinker. Like, I was heavy. Like, I could drink. I could drink to the point where I showed up on jobs still drunk, but I could bust my ass working, and I could do it correctly. That doesn't mean it was right. And I had to get that out of me. And yeah, it was tough. It was tough getting that part of me out. All right. And I did. I did stop drinking, or I slowed down drinking dramatically to the point where I was employable and teachable. But if I didn't slow down drinking, he would have denied me, and he would have been like, go away from me. Go to electrical with all the other misfits that don't have a mentor. Because in the non-union side of things, there's not a lot of mentors out there, okay? And you're kind of left in this pool of guys that are somehow learning the trade. Like, they're almost like teaching each other little tricks, but a lot of times they're all illegal, and they're not good tricks. They're like sleazy tricks that are ugly, and they don't even realize it. Like, I hire guys that are from, we'll just call it the pool. I hire guys from the pool, and all of them love to say how much they know, but they don't know code. Like, they know code based on like what was taught around the pool and people talking to each other. But like, you get them on site and you see like where their education is. What sound foundation do they have in their education? And there is no sound foundation. They know like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and they put together this and they can put together that. But like, when you look at like their outlets, they're going around with like cordless drills and like, oh, it's so bad. Oh. Don't use a cordless drill on an outlet. Like, have a little bit more respect for yourself. You know, it's not a good, even if, oh, I set the ratchet, or I set the impact and this, dude, stop. All right. But that's the pool. And when you pull guys out of the pool, and I have guys that ask me all the time, oh, teach me. And, you know, honestly, if they could handle it, I would teach them. But the amount of humility that's required to be taught electric correctly, a lot of these guys don't have it. They want to be a good, they do want to be a mechanic, but they can't handle the responsibility and humility that comes along with being taught how to be a good mechanic. All right, they think they can, but then when it comes time to not drink during the week, or, you know, to be 15 minutes early on every single site, to be clear-headed, awake, don't skate an 8, like, put your time in, like, really try your hardest, they fall, they don't. So if you're out there and you want to be a mechanic, okay, you got to realize what you're asking for. Okay, this ain't a game. All right, and you're not going to be able to have the same, if you think you're going to be able to act like a fool and go out and do stupid shit and then become a responsible adult as a mechanic, it just doesn't work that way. You know, as an electrical mechanic, you're responsible for a lot of money. You're responsible for the guys underneath of you. You're responsible for the tools, the truck, the job, and every single job. The responsibility of a mechanic is to complete every job without a problem. Start to finish, on time, clean, neat, with positive feedback. That's tough to do. Not one job, but every job. 5 days a week. 6 days a week sometimes. Like, that's the structure you need, and it requires a lot of discipline. So if you're asking to become a mechanic, realize the amount of discipline you're asking for. Because I have yet to see a professional mechanic be stupid. I've seen some make some stupid decisions, but I have yet to see someone from the pool become a mechanic and act like they're from the pool. You either have to change yourself dramatically, or you just don't make it. It's just the way it is. Sorry. God bless. Take care. Have a good day.